Okay, we're going to begin the 5-minute rebuttal. Dr. Arlo Moehlenpah, speaking on creation, will begin first.
First of all, I'm not a professional debater. This is the second debate that I've ever participated in. But I don't believe the other speaker stuck with the subject. I might mention, if you taped it or so forth, I never mentioned God. I never mentioned religion one time. I disproved that evolution was science. I disproved that it contradicted scientific laws. I showed it was not a mathematical probability. Our other speaker talked about overwhelming evidence. He presented absolutely no evidence whatever for any of this evolution. Okay? He said he was once a Pentecostal preacher. I happen to have a doctor's of science in chemical engineering. I've taught chemistry for a number of times. I am a scientist. But maybe to his surprise, I also am a Pentecostal preacher. I have no problem whatsoever with true science and the Bible. That which is actually observable, that which is actually repeatable, that which is actually subject to experimentation and verifiable does not contradict the Bible. Now, it was mentioned flim-flam evidence. Well, I guess that's up to you to decide. At least I presented some evidence. I am confident that God exists. Now, if you were walking up, two of us were walking up to a sandcastle, and we could agree on a number of things. We could agree on the color. We could probably compare the ruler, the height. We might even be able to anticipate what we think the mass was and do a chemical composition. But when it comes to origins, if we did not see it built, we could argue till we're blue in the face. I would say that most of you would agree that this sandcastle was produced by a sculptor or a team of sculptors. How many would agree with that? Okay. The other argument is that the wind and the waves washed up this sandcastle. Which is more logical? We talked about faith. He mentioned faith. It takes more faith to believe that that sandcastle got there by chance. Now, I have no problem with the Badlands of South Dakota, that you go through that and you see that that's a product of wind and erosion. Okay, I don't have any problem with that. But to tell me that, go a little further to South Dakota, the Black Hills, and to say that that occurred by erosion and wind, is anybody who believes that, I can't respect their thinking process at all. I hope that's being kind. We talked about hostility. I don't think I'm hostile. I just question the, some would say, intelligence. When you see something complicated like this, it didn't happen by chance. When you see something as complicated as a living cell that is so complicated. I was in a debate, only the other debate I had was this week. The lady I debated said, recognize it could not have occurred, life could not have occurred in 4.5 billion years on Earth, so therefore it must have been formed from some other planet and came here. When I got up, I said, that sounds like a fairy tale to me. First of all, it doesn't solve the problem of evolution. It would still be mathematically improbable on Mars or wherever else it was supposed to come from, but then how would it have survived the journey here through cold space? Okay. Now, he talked a number of times about the scientific method. I showed what the scientific method was. You have a problem, you have hypotheses, I agree with you. The hypotheses can be proved false. You know, if you had the hypothesis that the ball stayed there or that the ball went up, you could prove that false. So another word for science is testable or falsifiable. Now, he said, if creationists have a valid argument, why not present it to the scientific community? What do you think I'm here for from California? Why do you think we've challenged the scientific, the people? Why is it nobody's willing to debate? Because evolution is not scientific. Evolution is a religion. We'll get into that more.